Episode 10.
Episode 10. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you guys for joining us today.
Absolutely.
Today, we have a pretty cool episode
That's
here.
right.
You know, every episode is freaking cool.
That's every episode.
We've gotten so lucky with the best guests. I mean, and we got some other things up our sleeves for you guys, man. And episode 10, man, who would have thought that we would have been here right now, huh? It's so easy to start something and quit.
Absolutely.
You start something, you stop.
But we're still going. And we're not going to stop.
And we ain't going to stop. Nope. Say that again.
It ain't never going to stop.
We ain't going to stop.
Keep going. We're going to keep
going.
Yes,
sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
It's always motivating to hear something like that. Like,
yes,
you
sir.
know, because you need someone in your corner to be on the same page as you, have the same energy.
Absolutely.
And the willingness to keep doing something positive that involves growth and development.
Absolutely.
Today's guest is, to me, man, he's one of the most special people that I've met since I've opened my business.
Wow.
And I've come across some cool-ass special people.
Right.
His name is Ken, and he represents the CRG, Center for Regional Growth. We're going to have him fill you guys all in as to what it all stands for, what exactly he does, because we think it's important for everyone to know what kind of programs are out there for you to grow as a business, expanding, maybe starting up a business. You may have had a dream to start something, and because it seemed too far-fetched, you stopped, you discontinued. But today, we have some information for you. So someone here to shed some light to let you know that there's people out there that have your back. They will support you. And it's all about, you see, Bacardi, I asked him, and he said, and we ain't gonna stop. That's the type of energy that we need. These are the types of individuals that we need to surround ourselves with, you know, people that hold you accountable. My hair stand up when I say that because Ken, he will hold you accountable. And I love that about him. You know, you gotta be held accountable. That's the only way you keep track of your progress. You know, so this gentleman goes out of his way. He's more than just the CRG, and the CRG is amazing, providing help for so many people in these areas. We're gonna get information on whether it's just a local thing, a New York thing, or is it nationwide. We're gonna get more into that. But you know, every once in a while you come across these individuals in your life and you see them kind of like giving back to the community, volunteering their time, their scarce time,
which is valuable.
Not only are some of these individuals full-time employees somewhere, but they also have families,
their own personal lives.
They have their own personal lives. But when you see someone going out of their way and saying, no, I have this to do, I have that to do, excited to do it, you know, it's very inspiring.
Absolutely.
It's
uplifting, it's inspirational.
And you've known me for a while now. You know, I like to give back too. I like to let the people know that, yo, we are here. We want to help you. What can we do? And so this individual, he is just like that, man. He's part of the Rotary Club. We're going to get into detail on that too, because a lot of us don't even know what a Rotary is.
I don't know what the Rotary Club is.
Yeah, so we're gonna
It sounds like a club I would like to know.
Oh, dude. From a small town in upstate New York in the Adirondacks called Northville. Google that. It's beautiful.
Beautiful place,
Very picturesque. It was important for me to have Ken on our show because of how helpful he is. I personally have experienced this. You know, he has helped me get put in a position where I have the help to grow as a business, to expand, to try new business ventures. You know, as you guys know, I had a food truck, Chelas Cuchi Frito. Shout out Chelas Cuchi Frito.
Yes, sir.
None of that would have been possible without my friend Ken. Other times too, you know, Ken is one of the only people that I can call because I need someone to talk to. And he picks up the phone. You know, like sometimes people got something going on, they'd be like, I'll call him back. This guy picks up the phone, and I always say, Ken, I'm sorry if I'm bothering you. He's Mike, you're never bothering me. He hits me with, Mike, you're like family. You know, just for me, having someone that I could call,
who's genuine,
and I know that he's gonna hold me accountable. So if I'm looking for a pity party, I called the wrong person.
Exactly.
You know, he's gonna hold me accountable, and he's gonna give me the advice that I need to hear.
Yes, sir.
You know, and I need to hear it.
Absolutely.
And you are also one of them people. I've called you, right?
Absolutely, yes.
And so, man, today I get to have two of the people that I rely on. Sometimes you just need someone to talk to, right? Like maybe there's a decision that you have to make, a business decision, a personal decision, and it's a tough one to make. Who do I rely on for some guidance in regards to that?
Someone who's reasonable, someone who has a good head on their shoulders, right? Yeah.
And may be able to look at things from different perspectives, you know, and point out both or all different perspectives. It's just important because it keeps you grounded.
Absolutely.
You know, and some people, they want to call pity party and they want somebody to be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. They be like, well, no, if you were wrong, you were wrong.
That's it.
You know, and you got to hear that sometimes.
Yeah. You got to man up. You got to own up.
You got to man up, man. And without any further delay.
Yes, sir.
Can we get Ken in here?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Ken. Welcome to Shop Talk, Ken.
Thank you for coming on,
Darty. How you doing?
Yeah, good. How are you, brother?
Good.
Let's give him a round of applause first of all. If you want to throw in your headset, but let's give Ken a proper round of applause. He deserves that.
Yes, Ken. Welcome to the podcast.
Shop Talk.
Thanks.
Shop Talk. Episode 10, baby.
Episode 10.
Double digits, and we got 10 in the house. Ken in the house. I said we got 10 in the house. Oh, I like the way that worked, though. You know what I'm saying? It's Saturday. The end of our shift. We are here. Ken, can you introduce yourself?
So I'm Ken Adamczyk, and I work for the Fulton County Center for Regional Growth.
Fulton County Center for Regional Growth. Now, what does that organization, in a nutshell, what is it that they are responsible for?
So short term, we're the economic development arm and the marketing arm for Fulton County.
Okay.
So our job is to bring businesses into the county, retain businesses, retain jobs, build new jobs, and help support large and small businesses.
Wow, that's awesome.
Wow.
That's great.
Yeah. So a lot of people, they don't really know that these kinds of organizations exist.
Right.
How does someone go, like, do they type in something on Google, like a specific keyword? Because a lot of people don't know the acronym CRG or Center for Regional Growth.
Right, yeah.
So if someone, a novice, was thinking about starting a business, how could he go about searching for that type of assistance?
So you can type in business assistance, in Fulton County.
Right.
You also can go to places like the Chamber because we're, partners and we work together and stuff. So there's
the Chamber of Commerce.
Yes,
there's
sir.
a local one near you.
Yeah.
Yes, anywhere.
Anywhere.
But so there's economic developers all over the state and then all over the country working for their own, whether it's a state, a county, a municipality, things like that. So we're just everywhere. And then how do you find them? They're in. Everybody has them.
Right.
Economic developer.
Right.
I mean, you just gotta think about those two words for a second. Economic developer. I hear that, and I'm hearing income raise for the general area that you're catering to.
Absolutely.
So you're looking to raise revenue, income,
job
supply jobs, and in doing so, the county benefits too. I mean, a lot because taxes are everything is developing. When you say economic, it's not just
the individual, is the community. Everyone's gaining some type of revenue.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. Correct. There's so much more that goes into it that most people, they just don't see the work that goes on to make it happen, and they don't always see what the benefits are because it's short term, and most of the stuff we do is a little bit more long term.
Okay.
How do we do that?
Right.
But it comes down to the people and how do we get people more opportunities, better opportunities.
Right.
And let's be real, during COVID, everybody wanted to come out here.
Yes.
Get away from the cities and everything else.
Right.
So we did see a big push in businesses that were looking at us.
Right.
And how do we then take that, move our people, get them ready, and you work with, FM and the BOCES, with the college and the BOCES, and you work on developing our people so that we can start filling those needs, and then it's just growth. People moving out of the city, coming here, because, where else can you live that's this beautiful, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
Absolutely.
It's pretty awesome.
Absolutely.
I gotta pay homage to the head of Votron, Ron Peters.
Ron's the man.
Ron is the man. Ron Peters. If he ran for president, I would vote for him, and then hopefully he would have Ken as the vice president. Because let me tell you something, and I've told that to Mr. Peters already. Mr. Peters is the director of the CRG.
He's the president and CEO.
Okay.
This guy, man, have you met him?
No, I don't think I
Man,
have.
I hope you meet him one day. You'll see exactly why he's got my vote.
Right.
And how is it working with Ron Peters, man?
Ron is amazing, and my team over there is the reason why I stay there as much as I do, because you can enjoy a job, but when you enjoy the people you work with, it's that much better.
Wow.
And you can like a job, and if you don't like the people you work with, you still may not want to be there.
Right.
But we have a great team over there, and I always say that Ron's our savant.
Right.
Ron comes up with creative ideas ideas, and like he is that brainchild that just will always find a different angle for things and how do we make stuff happen. And he's just got such a great personality for doing that. And then he has the rest of us that the team is built almost perfectly because we all have strengths that match others' weaknesses. So it just everything clicks and we get so much more done. We have this new term that I've been letting Ron know, which is a good and a bad thing. I'm like, Ron, we are way over capacity right now. and it's just that we're doing what an office of like 10 or 12
people
economic developers are doing in this little office with like me, him, our downtown Gloversville person.
I've been in his office. Man, this dude, he's busy, bro.
I believe it.
He's busy. And let me tell you, for the people out there that are submitting applications and are waiting a call back, he's going to call you back. It's just he's busy. He's got a stack of files of people he's helping. He's like literally going out of his way to help. He'll help you with the application process. I don't want to try to say too much because I want you to be responsible for some of the stuff too. But he guides you through a whole process of how to make your business better or how to bring your idea of a business into fruition. So we have resources out here. The CRG is one of them. You heard him. He's got a great team that he works with. And alongside Mr. Peters, you also have Jennifer Donovan. And Jennifer Donovan, she recently started maybe like less than a year?
A little over a year.
Biggest sweetheart. And yo, you know how he said it? Everyone that he works with has their own special, like she's got it. I see her bright and early walking up and down Main Street and she's engaging the community. She's inviting you to these new events happening and she wants you to participate and bring your business into this event. And this is what we need, you know, small town community, big things, you know,
big picture.
Big things. I mean, he's thinking long term. He doesn't want you to, we're not looking to open up a business and then in a year
it closes down.
Well, and that happens so much. And sometimes you have to tell people, like you guys were saying earlier, you got to tell people the truth. I ask a lot of, and it's not to be negative, like I ask a lot of hard questions. You know, at one point in time, and I know when you took the class, one of the things I always say in the class is like, there's a new business, they want to open up a pizza place here in Gloversville. And I'm like, great, you got almost 10 of them in the 5-mile radius. What is that a good idea? And it's a real question.
It can get uncomfortable.
Of course.
You have to ask that question.
But you have to be realistic. You have to be honest.
Well, and sometimes the people around you are going to tell you the greatest things. And, and I'm not saying it's a bad idea. But what I am saying is, and I remind them, well, tell me what makes you different. What's going to make somebody want to come into you?
I do recall that question.
So it's not that it's, sometimes it's not the idea is bad. Explain to me why it's good. And that's a hard question for people. And if they don't have that answer, then I just want them to go back and think about it. Because if you can't spell it out, whether it's looking for funding, looking for sponsors, looking for just people to back, or even customers to come in, whether it's that marketing or trying to find a loan or a grant or something like that, your business plan is the way to start. And if you can't sell yourself in paper, if you're not saying it in person, you're not going to be able to put it in paper. And if you can't do both of those, then all those other things just don't happen. So how do you show people who you are without, you got to brag a little bit.
You have to.
You do. So so we do ask some hard questions because we want to see long-term success.
Of course.
Because we don't want to see places close. Now we do try. You know, you take risks because you don't know. Just as a store opens up, that I may not think, that it's the first place I'm going to shop because it's not my niche or whatever at that time in my life. Doesn't mean it's not somebody else's. So, you have to think about it from that. And if they can show me that, then it's not proving it to me.
That's having an open mind right there.
Proving it you got to prove it to everybody else. And that's the big thing. How do we prove it to the outsiders that are going to want to come in? And we have to do the same thing with Fulton County itself. We're an underserved community. We have 2 federal opportunity zones, which means that we have an underserved community. And nobody ever thinks 54% of the county is in the Adirondack State Park. Which means I can't do a whole lot of development in a state park. So there are
limited
limits, but also hurdles that you just need to work with. There are some barriers, but how do you move them, put them where they need to be, and develop it, and then help its people? And that's where we really kind of focus. And I don't want to see these small businesses fail.
Of course.
But again, you can't help everybody. I wish could. Most people.
I think that in a point, like when you help someone get from A to B, and B is the business is open, it's really up to how motivated and driven that individual is, right? I mean, because businesses fluctuate, you know, as far as traffic goes. And I mean, we experience it here as a barbershop.
I think every business experiences
every
that
business.
Yeah.
There's a slow period, but what are we doing in those slow times? And will we be comfortable with that slow traffic, with the no business, with the I'm just sitting here?
Right.
You know, it's like, what are we gonna do during those slow and difficult times to get out of that rut, to make ourselves more known or more accessible?
Right.
Like you said, we gotta boast, we gotta brag, we gotta
Absolutely.
promote
You
ourselves.
gotta promote yourself.
You know, speaking of brag, we got the best DJ in the house. Let him get a round of applause.
Sure, thank you. I wanted to actually ask Ken a question. What made you get into this line of work? Or how did you get into this line of work?
Okay, so originally I was not from here.
Okay.
I am not a Fulton County grown person.
Neither am I. So.
I grew up in Buffalo.
Okay.
And then I joined the Air Force, did that for 26 years, and moved back here with my ex when we retired.
Right.
Because she was from here.
Okay.
So we moved back to the area. I kind of was just having fun playing with the dog and just kind of doing my thing. And then at one point in time, I was working with a CRG. They were sponsoring an event that I was doing down with the Rotary Club.
Okay.
Our woodworking show.
Right.
And I saw that Ron had a job opening.
Right.
And we talked about it, and I was like, hey, do you need me to put in a resume? And he's like, I think we're good. And then like 4 or 5 months later, we were talking again, and it was still available. I was like, you sure you don't want that? And he's like, yeah. He's like, go ahead. So I put the application in, and it was just like, okay. And the board of directors at the time didn't see how my military background was going to fit in. But I was a recruiter, so I was in sales, and I worked for Air Force Marketing Service. It was hard to see the transition.
Right.
And then when we got there, and we sat down, we had a conversation like this, they were like, okay, now we get it. Now we see how things are rolling together. And then that was going to be 5 years in June.
Wow.
Yeah, which is, I say it's crazy all the time, because this is the longest I've ever been in one job. I either got promoted and moved to another job or left, like every 2 to 3 years. So this is like, I'm getting a little stir crazy a little bit.
There's also a magazine. So you also, not only are you assisting these businesses get established, and it could be anywhere from the smallest business to the largest corporation, right?
Right, yeah.
So, he wrote an article. He interviewed me, asked me if I wanted to be in a magazine. I said, sure. I've never been in a magazine. He came over here, and I don't know if you recall this particular day, but during the interview process, it got a little difficult for me, and I didn't really know exactly how to answer, even though I knew the right answer.
Right.
And Ken was one of the first people that I was real comfortable opening up about my troubled past, because it was a interview article, so I was answering certain questions, and I wanted to answer honestly. I didn't want to stutter. I didn't want to, like when you start lying, you start stuttering, you start like I didn't want to do any of that. I wanted to just be real, genuine, and I answered it, and the whole time I was like, I hope Ken doesn't view me differently. And he made me feel so comfortable, bro. Like, we all make mistakes. Nobody's perfect. And look at you now. Letting me know, thank you for being honest. You know what I mean? And just seriously, Ken, thank you for doing that for me, man. Thank you so much, man.
Let's give them both a round of applause. That was heartwarming.
I love Ken, man. I love Ken, and he's one of my favorite people. Like I said, seriously, thank you. And I know that, you probably don't come across that all the time. When you do come across someone like that, like me, where it has changed so much from what once was, what's in your head? What are you thinking?
You can't judge people. I mean, you gotta, everybody makes mistakes,
right?
And there's different levels of mistakes, and that's where we learn. That's where we grow. Now, if you continue to make the same mistake, then you're just banging your head against the wall.
Right.
But we gotta let people figure that out. I mean, even in businesses make mistakes. How do they then adapt and adjust?
Yes.
People make mistakes. How do we? I mean, come on, we've all been in different relationships. Some work, some didn't, and then you move on.
Right.
So how do we just look at people and say, okay, who are they? Give them that benefit of the doubt, trust, and then go from there.
Right.
Now, you get burned once in a while.
Yeah,
you do.
Of course.
But we gotta. I think right now, especially, we need to do a little bit more trusting and caring and being nicer to people than the way it is right now.
This environment, yes.
Yeah, it's kind of ugly right now.
Yes,
we need a little more
now
peace and joy there a
little bit.
What is the Rotary Club?
Yes.
Okay, so
educate us.
All right, so Rotary, it is a service organization. It's called under Rotary International. There's clubs throughout the world, and they give back to the community. They do service projects, and so it's a nonprofit. So there's clubs. There's a Glove Cities Club, which is a combination of Johnstown and Gloversville. We have a Northville Club. There's one out of Amsterdam, and it's throughout the United States. Started out of Chicago, was just a bunch of businessmen at the time, and they started, and the first project was public bathrooms in the city of Chicago. So, and then it just kind of developed from there. So we do international projects. We do just a lot of different things to support the community, the nation, the globe. You know, if there's a...
Give us an example of one of your guys' events.
So we have Northville Rotary, one of our fundraisers to help continue to do stuff like scholarships for the kids and stuff like that, is we have our annual woodworking and fine arts show down in Gloversville. It's always the third weekend in July. We bring 3,000 to 5,000 people in.
Oh, wow. Wow.
You know, for that weekend.
That's
and it's
turnout.
a great fundraiser. It helps the small businesses that are there local, because you have all these extra people there. But at the exact same time, it helps all those small businesses who are like the crafter, you know, the artisans that are doing, whether it's woodwork, stained glass, you know, just some of their incredible work, the knitting, and there's one guy who makes these knives, Mr. Den. They're hand carved knives. It's amazing. So the work that's there is wonderful. But then all the funds that we raise goes to do these projects. Like we give out $4,000 a year in scholarships to kids out of Northville, and then we do other, like every month we donate to a backpack program for the underserved kids at the school. We fill up backpacks for them for food. So we just do a lot of different things. But then we do international projects. Like there's a shelter box. So it's a company that was kind of started by Rotary, organization started by Rotary. And what it does is there's a box. It's like a big plastic tub about yay big. And if a tragedy happens in the world, a tsunami, a hurricane, things like that, or all the other bad things that can happen around the world, and they need help, they just pack these boxes up, put them on a pallet, put them in a plane, drop them off. But inside the box is a tent that can house a family. It's got school supplies for the kids, like writing utensils and stuff like that for them. But then it's got cooking utensils, heat, water purification kits, like these solar water purification things, and then other things so you could charge, like battery solar units, so you can charge up electronics and things. And then a family can survive in this for like months.
Oh, wow.
So when those things happen, we donate to that. And it's funny, that box, it's like $1,000. So every year we're at least buying one, and we have it on call. And then if something happens in the world, then we just turn around and make another donation and say, hey, send this one there. So this is a great opportunity to turn around and be like helping people worldwide, right here from little Northville of 1,200 people. How do you support something like that?
Great.
1,200 people.
And
he created an event to flood it with thousands more, you know? Wow. And you also volunteer your time and chef it up for the community, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
my man is a chef too. He can put it down in the kitchen.
I will say a chef. I love being in the kitchen.
He loves being in the kitchen.
I do. So for when I did get back here, the service you guys talked about. That's, I mean, I did it for so long while I was in. That's something that was good. So I was the youth director for about 7 years for Northville, Northampton. Ran a summer camp, ran events for the kids. So whenever they had certain events, like I started we called it the family ball.
Okay.
And it basically was mother-son, father-daughter dance, but we just changed the name to family ball because not every family has that same that same thing. So we changed it to family ball, and we would have all the kids from the elementary come out. They'd come out and they'd bring their parents, and we did a dinner and we had a dance and we had it all decorated, and they had little like photo booths places and stuff because it was all about how do we, and me and the kids would prepare the food, me and some of the counselors and stuff and some of the other volunteers, and we would just make food for everybody, and then they would have like this special time because we need more of that.
Absolutely.
Because families don't. And we didn't charge. I mean, it wasn't like it was like $2 or $5 for a couple because it was more get my numbers right. But it was how do we just get the families to do stuff.
Cause.
Right. And at that time it was the youth program, so we were doing those things, and then we ran the summer camp. So it was just about taking care of those kids, and we had a blast doing it. So staying a little busy.
Yeah,
a little busy.
busy.
A little busy.
And that's what I was gonna say. A lot of the times this is either on his day off or right after work.
Day off? What are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
What is that?
Day off.
What is that?
Day off.
Wait a minute. Isn't this Saturday?
Oh, yeah. Guess what?
3, 4, 5
years. Look where he is.
And I'm here just because of you.
Thank you, man.
Well, and then I heard I was going to be in with, the man over there.
Yes, sir.
DJ extraordinaire. So I was like, all right, well, maybe I need to make sure I'm there.
Yes, thank you so much.
I always have to know the right people.
No doubt, no doubt. I mean, I feel so blessed to even have you here. you know.
Yes.
Now, real quick, is CRG nationwide? Is it just New York?
No, so like I said, the economic development agencies are throughout
All
the country.
local, right?
They're all
Yeah.
Okay,
local.
they're just different names.
They're just different names, and they're just out there doing their own thing.
Right.
And it is a bit of a competition,
Right.
you know, because they're looking for how do they fill their needs,
Right.
you know, and they're looking to take care of their people and their communities and stuff like that. So there is a little bit of competition,
Right.
you know, because if there were people all over the country trying to get Micron recently, that's that nano center
Yes.
that's being built out in White Plains and
Oh,
just out by
okay.
Syracuse, you know, I mean, that's $100 billion with a B
Yes.
dollar project.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of different states fighting for that,
Wow.
you know, and now that project, yes, $100 billion,
Yeah.
but it's also going to build 50,000 jobs.
Wow.
You know, so that's 50,000 new jobs in New York State.
That's great.
Wow.
So now we have to figure out how to go from there, and that now we have to start doing more workforce
Right.
development and educating our young kids
Yes.
that, hey, you know what, this is a job for you, because let's be real, the kids that are here in Fulton County don't see nanotechnology
Right.
like this
True.
every day.
Right,
So
right.
how do we educate them that this is a path for you?
Right.
Because what most people don't realize, if you go to Global Foundries, they gave us a little briefing one day, and it's only 38% of the people there have higher learning degrees.
Wow.
So they would rather have somebody who has potential,
Right.
who has skills, and wants to learn and show up.
Absolutely.
And then they'll teach them their way.
Yeah.
And that's good paying jobs.
And it's a great opportunity.
Yes.
And
Right.
it is. So if we don't educate our kids, you know, starting at like 6th grade when
Right.
they're going into those fax classes and stuff like that, we don't start showing them that these are the other options. And it's not that they just don't know. And the parents don't know, because
Right.
it's like most people don't even know the businesses that are right here. Here's one. I'll give you one. Did you know that Benjamin Moore just expanded their business down here in Johnstown?
I did not know that.
So they expanded. Over 60% of all the paint nationwide for Benjamin Moore comes right out of this facility down the street.
Wow. I had no clue.
Little
Yes.
Good old Johnson.
Gloversville, Johnstown.
Little
Yeah.
Johnstown.
Yeah.
And we helped them with that expansion
Wow.
process here at the CRG.
Wow. Right.
So created more jobs,
Right.
created more opportunities, helped that company. So that's the bigger
Yes.
the picture. And then
Right.
they're creating good jobs. You know, we're currently building a site, and we call them sites.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Down off of Route 38, so that we can target. We got grants and we purchased a site. Now we're doing engineering studies to get it all ready,
Right.
so that we can then start marketing to other businesses to bring more higher end jobs into the community
Right.
for our people, for the kids, for the families, so they can have a better quality job and do better for themselves.
Right.
You know, so it's really about how do we help build and grow the county and the tax base, but also help its people do more.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and have it here locally, because how many times we've all heard it, no matter what school you
Yeah,
went to.
yeah, absolutely.
I didn't know that was here.
Yeah.
And they-
Yeah.
Or I'm going to college, which is great, but I'm going to college, but I don't know what I want to do.
Right.
How do we start educating them what's here, and how do we keep them here?
Right.
So we did a project with Northville, and it was a workforce development project called Expertise Project. And this one young lady, she was the valedictorian at Northville a couple years ago. She helped us with this project. The kids, we take the students out to schools. They do all the research on the business. They do the videoing. They do the interview questions,
Right.
and they run the whole thing.
Right.
And they learn about the company, and then they build videos for them that they can market with, and they can teach the kids that are coming behind them about these jobs. Well, the valedictorian, Haley, she was planning on going into medical.
Right.
She really wanted to get into oncology for children.
Okay.
It ended up afterwards, like, she did have a problem with being a doctor, because there were certain parts of it that she didn't like, but she knew this is the path I wanted to go.
Right.
After this, she didn't realize she decided to switch her career, and she went into biomedical engineering.
Right.
So now she's still going down that same path, but she didn't realize that was something that was there for her.
Right.
Okay.
Like, she just didn't know that, one, that the job existed, two, that that's like something that women do, because that's a stigma, and then it was like, how do I do that? So she changed her degree just by going through this program.
Yeah.
And so now this was 2 years ago, she's already in her 3rd year. Like, she's finished
Wow.
like that.
Yeah.
So she's doing wonderful. And it's like, how do we inform the students, the kids, and their parents about those opportunities? Because
Right.
most of us don't even know what's around us.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So it's pretty cool when you can make those type of impacts.
Oh my God.
It's like,
that's lifelong,
well,
bro.
it is.
It's
It is.
rewarding. It's rewarding as well. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
That's great.
so you come across so many people. You know people from different towns and counties.
Walks of life as well.
I know you have had to been asked the question, Ken, you gonna run for mayor?
Say it again.
You gonna run for mayor?
Yeah, nope. I have been
Have you been asked that?
I have been asked that. But you gotta remember,
You know why?
It'd be in Northville. So,
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
well, you know what? The reason why I ask you is because people trust you. You're always so guiding, so helpful. Who else to have as like a representative of that area than someone that they can trust and confide in? So, not surprised by that. The fact that people do ask you that question. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Your goal, like your ultimate goal.
Back being retired with my dog, man.
Okay, all right.
No,
Wow.
you know what? I don't.
You don't even plan it like that. You just
I
kind of
really don't.
No?
Right now, I don't. You know, when I retired from the Air Force, I was like, okay, I'm going to take a step back. This has been a long time.
Right.
Where do I go from here? And so, you know, my life changed quite a bit because it is a different world coming out and being on the civilian side and stuff. So there's a lot of transition that has to be made. So I was like, okay, how is this going to go? And since being back, this is not my first job. I mean, I was substitute teaching for a while. I was doing the youth program for a while. I worked at the Walmart DC for a while.
Oh, wow.
You know, because I was like, you know what, I just want a good workout.
Yeah.
And give me my
something.
12-hour
Keep it
shifts
busy.
and 3 days a week and just
Right.
get a good workout in and just not think for a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just kind of, I just wanted just to work.
Yeah.
And it was great and did that for a little bit. And of course, doing Rotary and all the other stuff. And this just fell into my
Yeah,
lap.
I
It
feel
wasn't-
like not everybody hits the lotto. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I gotta say, you hit the lotto because of who you're around, and I just feel like you're around such positive individuals where you work.
I'm
And-
so lucky.
But I gotta, in the same token, Ron hit the lotto with you.
Exactly.
Mr. Peters,
did.
you
He did.
you hit the lotto with this guy, and I always say that because you want someone like Ken in your corner that could say, Mr. Peters, oh, he says, Ron, I got this. You do your thing, I got this. And this is someone that Ken is, you know what I mean? It's so freaking awesome. What is something that you might tell someone that's listening right now, watching us? He's a younger version of you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He aspires to do something to make a difference. He doesn't have that insight, the intel, the motivation. He doesn't have the supportive corner. What's something that you might say to this person that's listening?
Just keep good people around you. Keep positive people around you. Try to eliminate that negativity and ask the questions. You know, I learned a long time ago, it's not my job to have all the answers, and I don't.
Right.
I am not a rocket scientist.
But you will find it, right?
Well, this is the thing. It's not my job to have all the answers. It's to know where to get them. So who do I need to know? And that's one of the big things. Is like my job isn't. People don't walk in the door and it's like I don't know how to be a barber. I don't know how to be a restaurateur. I don't know how to be it. Well, I know a little bit about that. No, I don't know everybody's thing.
Right.
But they all have the similar questions.
Yes.
Just like even with the class that people go through. It's valuable because it gives you a Rolodex. And I know that's an old school word, but it gives you that little phone book of who can I call? Because small business owners, the struggle for them is that they work so hard every day and so many problems come up and they'll spend so much time and so many hours trying to find out what the answer is. If they just had that Rolodex of people that they could call and be like, all right, I got an HR problem. Oh, hey, I know X over at Department of Labor. Oh, I got to work on a business plan. Oh, I know Matt down at the Small Business Development Center because I have a contact. How do I get that? Or, oh my goodness, I got a financial problem. My books aren't balancing. There's CPAs. Let me go call this person that I sat in the class with. To at least they can get you the answer much faster, and then you can spend more time doing what's making you money.
Right.
Yeah.
Because all that time that you waste is you're not making money.
Absolutely.
And so how do you do that?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think that's, so ask the questions, surround yourself with good people, and don't let negativity drive you down.
Right.
Because people are going to say,
I was just gonna say, someone's always got something negative to say,
of course.
especially today,
or like
someone's going to badmouth me after this video, I'm sure.
or like pop your bubble, right? Like
Yes.
I hate to break it to you, but and now you don't really even want to pursue your dream anymore because someone made it seem impossible or not doable.
But that's a lot with self-reflection, so you have to ignore that and just go for your goal.
And then, like he said, man, like he wants you to surround yourself with the right people.
Absolutely.
If they're not immediately in your circle, you need to seek out where you can go to be around these like-minded individuals that could help you grow, could help guide you into the path that you're looking for. Sooner or later, you'll find yourself at your destination. You're like, oh, I got here.
Yeah, now what?
Now what? And so you heard it. Ken said, what was it? Surround yourself by supportive people, good people. Ask the questions. We don't all have the right answers, right?
No.
You're right. I had to go to YouTube for some haircuts.
Of course.
And I know you had to.
Oh, yes.
You know,
I've done
and
research. Yeah, you have
right.
to.
And it's just about educating yourself, getting better, staying positive, remembering that growth and development
That's right.
is the goal, man. And that's economic, that's personal. Man, I feel like we covered a lot.
And baby steps too.
Yes.
Oh, it doesn't happen overnight.
It
does not happen
That's
overnight.
right.
It doesn't happen overnight. I mean, I've been here at this location since 2011. It's 2024.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen overnight. But some people, they see and they're like, oh, it took a long time for me to do it.
Yeah.
You know?
And you still have struggles.
And
That's
I still
right.
have
That's
struggles,
right.
and
Everyone
I'm
does.
still also
Yep.
learning. I want to keep surrounding myself with these positive individuals. I want to keep learning and keep building with them, you know? So tossing ideas back and forth and capitalizing on some of these ideas too, though, because
That's
sometimes we have an idea and we talk about it, we don't really do nothing, right? But it's about putting one foot in front of the other, staying focused,
Yep.
and realizing this isn't going to happen overnight.
No.
Ken from the CRG/Northville Rotary Club, which is worldwide, all right?
Which I didn't know was worldwide.
Yeah, I didn't know it was worldwide either, but we know it's
That's
worldwide,
great.
and it started in Chicago. At what year did it start? Like,
Oh, come on.
come
on, man.
Putting him to the test right
You are
now.
putting me to
what
the test.
time was it that they did not?
You're killing me.
Oh man! It was developed a long time ago in Chicago.
Yes.
But it was Paul Harris who started it.
Okay.
I
Hey.
wanted to ask that.
at
See, I
that.
thought that was the question you weren't gonna know.
That one I know.
You knew that one. Paul Harris, man, you doing big things. You did big things because you got a bunch of people that are following in these footsteps, and they're good footsteps. Thank you for what you did, and thank you, Ken, for all that you do.
Yes.
For me personally, and also for your community members.
Just care, man.
Yeah.
I know you care. That mind boggles me sometimes because not a lot of people care.
don't,
A lot
no.
of people are just there to do their 8-hour shift and then forget about you.
That's it.
You know, Ken cares, man.
You know what else I think some people they don't get? You don't have to like everybody to care about somebody. You know,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I don't mean that in a bad
No,
way.
I know, it just sounds
you can,
funny.
it does, but there's so much division now.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
okay, just because it's not somebody that I'm gonna like invite over to my house for dinner doesn't mean I'm not gonna break bread with them
Right.
at lunch and
Right.
help them get to the next level.
Absolutely.
Wow.
You know, and I think that's something we need to remember. How do
Yeah.
we give back to? It doesn't have to just be somebody I like.
Yes.
You know, or it's like my best friend or
Right,
something.
right,
No,
right,
it's
right.
like how do we help everybody?
Yes. Yeah.
You know, because we're all going to grow.
Absolutely. And everyone benefits from it. So.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. And that positivity spreads.
Yeah.
Yes.
And how do you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Now you don't have to
contagious.
tell everybody that they, you're
Right.
number one, but still, it's like,
Yeah. That's amazing, man.
Yes.
That wraps up episode 10,
Yes.
guys.
But let's give Ken a round of
We
applause.
gotta,
He was
we
an
gotta
amazing
give
guest.
him a round of applause.
We got
Let's
to.
press that.
I love the button.
Yes.
An amazing guest. An amazing
Yeah,
guest.
no. It
Yes.
was real important for me.
Yeah.
I've been mentioning it to Ken during some of our haircut sessions, and man, did he deliver!
Yeah.
I hope that a lot of the information that you guys heard today, you guys follow up and look into it. If you're local to the area, look up the CRG, see which ways this organization can help you.
Yes, sir.
If you are out of the area, look
for your
up
local.
economic
Yeah.
development. There's
Your
got to
local
be
area.
something out there. You know, don't think they're gonna pull up to your front porch
No.
with the application with it already
That's
filled
right.
out and all the info. Don't think that. You're gonna be held accountable for your
it.
part of the deal.
Going with the mindset that you're doing 99% of the work. That's it.
Yes,
That's-
but that you have someone there that has your back.
That's right.
That's
you,
it.
You know, thank you all. Appreciate you guys on this journey.
Yes, sir.
We still got the mugs.
Yes.
Kevin Camisa.
Got
Appreciate you and
stickers,
Gigi.
t-shirts. Yeah.
All right, man. Thank you all.
Thank
we
you,
love
guys.
you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks,
Stay
everybody.
tuned. Thank you.
Thank you.